All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And you know what? It feels really weird being on a normal sleep schedule right now because I woke up this morning and I see a video from JB, right? J-Bo and the Man, stating that there are leaks, which are obviously meant to be taken with a grain of salt. And I personally believe it's not happening for reasons that I'm going to discuss in this video. However, it is for an interesting subject because there's at least maybe a small chance that it might happen, and I'll tell you why also in this video. But apparently one of the big leaks by someone who may or may not be credible, it's not the same leaks as the other people that everything's been coming true so far, is that prone may be added to XDefiant. Now, first of all, I have to ask you guys in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about prone? Are you for it or are you against it in this game? Okay, I've read a few of the comments in his video, and there are people so far that are basically saying that if they add prone into the game, that they are just going to quit. They may quit XDefiant, right? Because of how much it ruins the flow of the game, etc., etc. And previously, the devs, and I'm paraphrasing when I say this, I remember when they were asked about prone and why it's not in the game, and I believe that they had stated that it was something of a, like it had a lot to do with some sort of a netcode issue or something like that, to where for some reason it was like the hit registration just wasn't working properly because of the prone and how it worked with the hitboxes and everything like that. Now, obviously, if they fix the netcode like they say they are by the beginning of Season 3, or maybe even by the end of the Season 2, if we're lucky, by the time we get that update, I mean, is it possible that they may double down and also add prone? Now, I know the question that some of you guys that are against prone may ask is this: why in the world would they add prone to the game? The game flows fine. Why this? Why that? And the only answer that I can come up with is because, well, if you think about the movement in this game, and then you've got your slide jumping and a little bit of air strafing, the quote unquote bunny hopping, so to speak, right? Well, prone is the exact opposite to that, right? Or should I say, excuse me, or should I say drop shotting is kind of the exact opposite to that. And to a certain degree, it almost is kind of like a counter. But if you think about it from like bunny hopping being the most aggressive form of play, prone or going prone is one of the more passive ways of playing. So you've got fire on one side, you got water on the other, right? So in that aspect, it kind of makes sense. But man, oh man, how much this game is going to change if you add prone into it. But the question is, if it actually doesn't have the same problem that Call of Duty has in terms of like the hit registration being off whenever somebody's prone, and how the hitboxes work when somebody's prone, like it would would the difference be something that every player can feel, you know, to where prone isn't as much of a big deal as it is in previous games because of how prone simply worked and didn't work in previous games? Is very interesting. Now, yeah. So, now, as far as I'm concerned, if prone were to be coming into the game, obviously I'm not going to stop playing it. So it's not really something that I'm worried about. Am I worried about being annoying? Yeah. But one thing I will say in terms of bunny hopping, is that one thing that I've seen a lot recently is that I am seeing people that are able to bunny hop multiple times without any penalty whatsoever. And I know this because they're hopping like 3-4 times, and the penalty kicks in after 2, right? So they hop like 3-4 times or something like that, and you know, they're still able to like take me out, even if they're at a distance, right? So if they were to just bunny hop once, or if they were to just bunny hop twice, it's like, okay, but I'm seeing a lot of players that are getting away with bunny hopping multiple times without any penalty whatsoever. Now, obviously people like that are cheating, right? Because the penalty is insane. There's no way with the penalty that you could be on target nonstop and to drop people within a split second like that after bunny hopping 3 or 4 times. You know, without any penalty, especially, you know, trust me, the penalty is brutal, right? But the thing is, players that are obviously cheating, whether it's by using a Cronus to counter that or whatever other means that they use to counter it, It's really annoying, but I don't really do anything about it, to be honest with you, because even if I were to report it, and if even if those players were to get banned, guess what? All they have to do is make another account, and wham bam, they're back at it again. So if they come up with a permaban, then it's like, okay, I will have no problem reporting people left and right of anything that I see, and obviously I record stuff, and I can just send it to Aches or Mark Rubin, or just, maybe I can get on the Discord and send it to the XDefiant, community team or something like that, or whatever means, right? But the thing is this, it's a waste of time as of right now, in my opinion, unless I am mistaken and these people are permabanned or banned in different ways than we see in other games. But that's one of the reasons why I don't even waste my time reporting and sending the footage to other people, as well as the gamer tags and stuff like that, because again, it's a temporary solution. It is a band-aid for a broken leg, unfortunately, but I'm seeing it a lot recently, and I think this is a big problem in the game, because a lot of people to this game stay away from this game because of the bunny hopping, but the bunny hopping isn't even that bad. It really isn't. If somebody's jumping once or twice, it really isn't that bad. But when you got people like jumping, like spamming jump non-stop, and for there being no penalty or whatnot, that is when it becomes a problem. Okay, so I think this is the thing that's one of the things that's turning off a lot of players that just are not big fans of the bunny hopping or whatnot, because obviously when somebody is cheating, or when people are cheating to this extent, it exacerbates the problem. It makes it much larger than what it normally would be. And bunny hopping or jumping once, or maybe jumping twice and shooting and being on target, guys, I'll tell you, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. And as a matter of fact, if you want to counter the bunny hoppers, the ones that are not cheating at least, and that are only limited to 1 or 2 jumps, all you have to do is jump shot just once and go in any direction or whatnot, and it makes you a harder target. Like, it really is that simple. And plus, you have to be good with your timing in terms of when they jump in accordance to when you jump and stuff like that. You have to. There is some trial and error involved in terms of getting it down properly in order to properly counter it, but a lot of these guys just want to be shooting at targets that are, boots on the ground while they are doing their bunny hopping and et cetera. That's how it works. But if you just manage to jump shot once, then you make yourself a harder target, easy, especially if they're not cheating, because again, jump shooting once is something that will make them miss their target. And that's what it's all about. Like, if players get caught off guard, like myself, for instance, right? If somebody catches me off guard and they run up to me when I'm not expecting them to be there, doing a jump shot, for instance, is something that I automatically use to counter, because again, they caught me off guard. So it's like, okay, I'm going to throw them off a little bit by jump shotting. It's something that I've even done in Call of Duty, but obviously in XDefiant, it works differently than it does in Call of Duty. But with that being said, let's continue the topic here about prone. And there's something else I wanted to ask you guys that's actually very, very important when it comes to the development of games. So in terms of prone, again, I understand why a lot of players don't like it. I myself don't like it. I personally don't think it's really a necessity in terms of what XDefiant is trying to do, because with XDefiant, it's all about playing the OBJ. But at the same time, I think when you look at it from the other side of things, it's like, well, there are players that will get on the B flag and will go prone to make themselves a harder target or harder to see, or maybe they'll try to get an angle and stuff like that. Sure. But I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird of what I think about this, because like when I look at, for instance, the new faction and how people are cleverly placing these turrets in different parts of the map, that almost to a certain extent reminds me of a pro player, because obviously these things are really down low, and they're shooting at you, right? So, and of course they're also being put in clever spots as well, which could be used to guard objectives, et cetera. So very, very interesting, to say the very least. And I am pretty impressed with some of the places that these players are able to place these things into that are pretty damn clever. But at the same time, it really is annoying, especially if you have a whole team of people that are just placing these turrets all over the place. That's where the problem lies. Sometimes with XDefiant, part of the problem with the game is that that sometimes things get too cheesy, but at the same time, there are a lot of players that like it, and at the same time, there are players that don't. So I really want to know what you guys think when it comes to that and the cheesiness of XDefiant. So and as I close here, the one thing that I wanted to ask you guys about is so yesterday, sometime before bedtime, I saw a video by Blame Truth, right? Obviously, some of you hate him, some of you love him, some of you are in between, whatever, right? But one thing I will say is that I saw that that he was talking about how a lot of things, like a lot of the, like for instance, like the prestige emblems in Black Ops 6, which I'm not going to cover. I'm just I want to just ask you guys about this particular topic. Were generated AI basically. Right. And if you go and watch his video, even if you go on Twitter and you look at what other people have to say in terms of those, those prestige emblems and stuff like that, and how they say that they believe to be AI generated. First, I just had to ask you guys, what are your opinions about AI developing games in the future? Right. Like in theory, I guess, when AI gets to a point to where it becomes like quote unquote perfect, you won't be able to notice the difference or something like that. And that you won't be able to notice that it's AI, and then that'll be quote unquote perfect, et cetera, whatever. How do you feel about AI developing games? Do you still prefer to keep humans in the loop, or do you guys prefer AI? And on top of that, do you have any concerns about AI? This is a really big topic within like so many different facets, but let's just stick to gaming real quick, right? Let's try not to get too far. And I know where you guys are going with this, and pretty much every single one of you guys have seen the Terminator movies, so trust me when I tell you, I know exactly where you're going with this. But what do you guys think about AI developing games? And I know right now that they're being used in certain ways, like very minute ways, I guess. I don't know. I guess when Black Ops 6 comes out, players, not myself, because I'm not going to play the game, I'm not going to cover the game, but other players out there will, notice just how much, AI generated things are in the game, and they'll be able to spot more if at all. But all in all, though, I just want to know, like, what is your opinion on the matter in terms of games? And I know the concern goes way beyond games, which is even more important. But as far as games are concerned, what do you guys think about AI? Are you for it? Are you against it? And why? Please let me know down in the comment section below. And with that being said, I can't wait to hear your comment or read your comments down below. Thank you all so very much for taking the time to watch and or listen. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.